Is it the case now that Senator Payman, can she remain part of the Labor Party?
Well, that's a matter for her ultimately. The Prime Minister's made clear the Labor Party position, and that is a very long-standing principle for Labor, which is no individual is bigger than the team. I mean, this is really going back to a Senate motion where the Labor Party put a view that was endorsed by the caucus without dissent. It reflected the platform position, and frankly, it reflects a stronger position in relation to the recognition of Palestine than any Australian government, including any Labor government, has ever had before. So, you know, the view that the Prime Minister put, particularly after Senator Payman's interview on Sunday, where she foreshadowed the possibility of again crossing the floor, reflects a very long-standing principle that every Labor candidate has been aware of for 100 years.
Is she being exiled, as she says in her statement?
Well, I mean, the position has been very clear. I know that a number of colleagues have reached out to her. I've seen a photo, for example, on the front page of one of the newspapers this morning of Tanya Plibersek giving her a hug on the floor of the Senate yesterday when we were swearing in the new Governor-General. So I don't accept some of the characterisations in Senator Payman's statement, but obviously her future, what she does over coming days, is now a matter for her. The Prime Minister has indicated a very long-standing principle of Labor, and that is that no individual is bigger than the team. We'd very much welcome Senator Payman returning to the fold, returning to Labor Party meetings and Labor Party processes.
But only if she toes the line.
Well, that requires her to accept the collective decision and show respect to other members of the team, which is, as I said, not a new principle. It's been a long-standing principle.
She's not inclined to follow that. So what happens? Can she remain a Labor Party senator?
Well, she's suspended from Labor Party processes until she decides to return to the fold, and that is to respect decisions of the team. She has the ability, if she does so, to talk up in caucus and to put a particular view. But as all candidates who ultimately get elected because they have the Labor Party next to their name on the ballot paper understand, and frankly pledge at the time, you accept the collective decisions of the Labor Party. And I say again, the position that the Labor Party put has reflected a stronger position in relation to the recognition of Palestine than any Australian government has had before, under this Prime Minister, particularly under Foreign Minister Wong.
Well, where does this leave you in seats in Western Sydney? Are you suggesting you don't need that support from the Muslim community because there's already talk about independent Teal-style candidates standing against Labor members?
I didn't say that at all, Lisa. You know, we've taken a very strong position. We deplore the loss of any innocent lives, whether they're Israeli or Palestinian. We've called for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire. We've changed, frankly, the position in relation to the recognition of Palestine to contemplate that recognition happening as part of a peace process leading to a two-state solution rather than at the end of the peace process. So we've been very forward-leaning on this and very active, particularly under Foreign Minister Wong. So I don't accept that characterisation. Yeah,
but you'd have to admit the optics of all of this don't look good for the Labor government. And when you've got conversations already about Teal-style candidates being stood, there's a chance here, is there not, that Labor could pay a political price for the treatment of Senator Payman?
Well, as Labor candidates, we've faced independent candidates against us and minor party candidates now for many years. I mean, that won't be something new if it eventuates.
So it's not going to cost you politically?
Well, we stand on our record, and that's not just our record in relation to the conflict over in Israel and Palestine. It's our record delivering cost of living relief, tax cuts for every taxpayer this week, you know, energy bill relief for every household. You know, voters tend to vote on a range of different issues they expect from their government. This is obviously one, but there are many, many besides. So our candidates in the seats that are being mentioned are strong local members who have a very strong record of representation of their local community, as well as the delivery on some of those national issues, for example, cost of living relief.
And just last one before we move on to areas in your portfolio, she says she believes she's being intimidated into leaving the party. Is she being intimidated?
No, I reject that entirely. The Prime Minister's position was put in a measured, proportionate way on Sunday after Senator Payman's interview on the Insiders program. It is not a new position. It's a position that has been adopted by Prime Ministers going back through Hawke and Keating, Whitlam, back to Curtin and Chifley, and even before that. This is a very long-standing principle of Labor that Labor Party candidates sign on to, frankly, when they get the privilege of putting themselves forward for election to public office with the Labor Party next to their name on the ballot paper.